Cool. All right, and we are live. All right, we're back. We're back in the building. Sports update. Adrian, Reid, what's good?
What's good?
All right, yeah, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So we seen the biggest contract in sports history. Juan Soto signed 15 years, $765 million. He's currently 26 years old. So Reid, where are you at with this Juan Soto contract, and how surprised were you that he left the Yankees for the Mets?
I mean, I wasn't super surprised. I didn't think he was going to go back to the Yankees because they probably wouldn't have been able to offer him as much as other places were, like the Mets. I think their max contract offer could have been $500 million, if my research serves me right. I mean, I wish we could have gotten him here in Detroit, but I don't think that was ever going to happen, considering they don't want to hand out long-term deals. I think it's great for the Mets. You have him, you got Lindor, Alonso. Well, they got to figure out what they're going to do with Alonso. He's a free agent this year, but yeah, I mean, huge news. I just saw something too that was really funny. They're paying him, and they still owe Bobby Bonilla $135 million, paying him until 2035. So he hasn't played baseball since I think like 2000, which is crazy to me. So yeah, the Mets pulled out the checkbook and said, we want Soto. We had a run towards the World Series last year. Hopefully this is the guy that, can push us over the hump. But I mean, that's a lot of money, man. A lot of money. He got offered, I think, for the Mets in 2020. When did he leave not the Mets, I'm sorry, the Nationals. Was it 2020, I think? Yeah, offered like $455 million for 15 years. Now he got almost double that, which is crazy. So yeah, good for the Mets. I think it's going to be. I think they're trying to go all in to win it. And I mean, Soto's not the best outfielder, but he's a great hitter.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I know one of my good friends. He's a big Yankees fan, and he texted me. That news dropped super late Sunday night. He was not happy, but I think it's a good thing for the Yankees. You're already paying Judge $300 million. I mean, for them, money's nothing, but you can go. Deal that money out to some pitching because they really could use that in the World Series. They did sign Max Fried to an 8-year, $216 million deal, lefty from the Braves. So that was a better pickup, I think, something that they really needed. But it just shows you, man, with baseball, it's a dog-eat-dog world. You got the Mets, the Yankees, the Padres, Dodgers. This just shows me if you're not a big spending money team or a big market not willing to spend the money, you are going to get left behind real quick and real fast. The days of being the Tampa Bay Rays, the Athletics, even the Rangers, Astros spend some money. So I said the Astros are a bigger market, but those smaller market teams that won't spend some money. I won't even get into the Tigers, but you got to spend money in order to compete. And I get it. I mean, $765 million. I mean, my gosh, that's a lot of money, like you talked about. 15 years. I don't even think he even plays another 15 years. But hey, I
mean, they'll be stuck with it like we were with Cabrera, unless they somehow trade him.
We got to get Lil Reid out there on the diamond, man. Get him out.
Telling you, I got
Reid out there on the diamond.
I got to get him to start fielding here.
Yeah.
He's going to be 3 on Sunday, so I think it's time to start.
Yes, sir. I think Cohen's willing to spend the money. Like you said, they got to figure out what they're going to do with Pete Alonso, but I think the Mets are going to be. They're in New York. They're trying to keep up with the Yankees. So they're going to be, even though they're in NL, they're going to try to keep up with the Yankees and try to field a competitive team, especially because they almost made the World Series. So, like I said, it's the big dogs eat the little dogs. So, I mean, it's just that's where baseball is going. It's almost like how college football is right now with the NIL and the portal and all that kind of stuff. But it's these teams that don't want to spend, good luck to you.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the back end of that contract looks like. I mean, yeah, it looks good now. He's in his prime. He's 26, but once he gets past 35, what is that contract really looking like?
It's not the Ohtani type of deal where he gets it, all like towards the end of his career. He's getting it all. It's all, I don't know how much it is per year, but he's getting it all throughout that whole 15 years. He's not waiting until it's not backloaded like Ohtani's contract was.
Yeah,
I want to see if it's on here. I'm gonna look and see if it's got the details on it.
Because I think we could pretty much all see it coming. Like when he starts getting closer to 40 and that, and He's been making a lot of money. Fans probably be tired of him, probably turn on him, even if he's even still there at that point.
It'll be the Miguel Cabrera, like I said, unless they can figure out a way to trade him if he falls off. But it'll be Miguel Cabrera or Javi Baez 2.0 because, again, mind you, he's not a great outfielder. He's in the right field. He's not a great fielder at all. He's just a good hitter.
Yeah, 15 years is crazy. Like you give somebody like 6, 7, 8 years, I can understand that. But like 15 years is a long commitment. That's really long in my book.
Okay, so this contract, I don't have everything, but I'm reading so far what I see. Read the contract notes, and this is according to SpotRack. Player opt-out available after 2029. Team can void the opt-out by adding $4 million a year from 2030 to 2039. There's a signing bonus of $75 million, no deferrals. Yeah. So he's getting paid. His contract, he's 26 now. When his contract ends, if he makes it all the way to it in 2040, he'll be 41 years old.
That's insane. That is insane.
And that is an average, like I said, 75 million signing bonus. But mind you guys, he's before he signed that contract, he had a career earnings of $82 million.
Imagine just waking up after signing your name on that contract. You wake up the next morning and you have $72 million in your bank account.
Average of $51 million a year.
That's crazy. That is insane.
I heard something though about he was upset with his I guess at a Yankees game, his family, somebody in his family got kicked out of the game or something during one of the games, so he was upset about that. So
doesn't have to worry about that anymore. Dolan will make sure that his family is set up when they come there.
Absolutely. So yeah, no salary cap in baseball. So you're gonna see contracts like this, and hey, this is the biggest contract as of right now. But a year or two from now, there's gonna be somebody else getting.
Somebody's getting $1 billion soon. Somebody's getting $1 billion.
Did you see that his contract is worth more than Brady and LeBron's career earnings put together?
That's insane.
It's crazy. All right, so yeah, we see how that plays out for the Mets this season. See if that pays off for them. All right, so let's switch over to college football. So the playoffs are set. So the first 4 teams that have byes, you got Oregon, Boise State, Arizona State, and Georgia all with byes. Then we got Clemson versus Texas, Tennessee versus Ohio State, SMU versus Penn State, and then the Battle of Indiana versus Notre Dame. So, Adrian, did the committee get it right with these 12 teams?
Yes, they absolutely did, because if they, let's say the biggest debate was should Alabama get in or SMU, and here's why: if the committee would have let Alabama in, I think they would have been doing everybody a disservice. Why be able to play in your conference championship games and it hurts you? That it wouldn't make any sense, because then it would just defeat the point of you having conference championship games. Now, let's say if SMU had 3 losses, then maybe we're having a different conversation. But I think overall the committee got it. The committee got it right. I honestly, in my opinion, my hot take about this is I think Texas should have completely fell to the bottom of this. If you guys look at their resume, correct, the best team they played was Michigan, and Michigan kind of came on at the end of the season, played a lot better. But Texas was 0-2 against the top 25 college football rankings an entire season. So they didn't have a single win against the top 25 team. And they're not playing well right now. I think maybe Art should come in. But other than that, I don't really have too many gripes. Oregon's undefeated, the number 1 seed. I think Georgia's in some trouble right now, though. Carson Beck is dealing with that UCL injury. That UCLs, if you tear that, that's almost like, I believe you got to get Tommy John for that. So that's something to really monitor and keep up for. But I think they got it right. I don't really have any complaints. I would say I would probably flop Boise State and Arizona State. So I don't think Boise State's quarterback is that good. But I just think they need to change the whole format of how they're doing the seeding, especially after each round they need to reseed it, because Oregon has a harder path than say the 5 seed, which makes no sense. Have you seen Penn State's slate? They would have to be SMU and Boise State to get to the semifinals. That should be a cakewalk for them.
That should be like Oregon's.
Yeah. So I'll just leave it there. I don't have too many guys, but that's just my take on it initially. Yeah,
I think Adrian said it perfectly. I agree that Oregon, they went 13-0. They should have definitely been rewarded for their season that they had. You beat OSU. They beat Michigan. They beat I don't know. They beat a lot of good teams. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of everybody, but yeah, I think that having to play Ohio State and who else was in that bracket? That is Texas in that one as well with them. Like, I'm pretty sure it's Texas, but either way, it's Penn State having an easier schedule is just ridiculous to me. I hope SMU just absolutely dog walks them because I can't stand James Franklin. But yeah, I mean, that's the first year they're going to do this. I don't think everything's going to be perfect. They'll figure it out, I'm sure. But the playoff committee is, as we know, is never really the brightest group of people, I guess to say. They're kind of maybe putting up matchups, due to brand names and things like that, I guess. But yeah, I got to see how it plays out before I give any like real critical, observation on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's some good games in that first round. That Texas and Clemson game should be good. That Indiana Notre Dame good game. That Tennessee Ohio State. It's some good first round matchups.
I think the Indiana and Notre Dame one's actually going to be better than people think. I think that's going to be the best one in the slate. And I think SMU is actually going to surprise people because SMU didn't play well in the first half against Clemson, but they played well in the second half against Clemson. I think they could beat Penn State.
I don't think they could beat Penn State. I don't see it. SMU didn't really play anybody this season.
I'm more so leaning towards Indiana beating Notre Dame just because I think Indiana has an explosive offense that's explosive enough, and I just don't trust Riley Leonard. On top of that, SMU is going to up the Happy Valley in a whiteout. And I just think Penn State's going to be ready to play. Drew Aller's playing phenomenal lately these last few weeks. Tyler Warren's been playing phenomenal. So I think I would lean more toward Indiana pulling the upset.
For sure. All right, let me see. We got Dave in the building. Says, "What's you guys' prediction for the Bama-Michigan game?"
I can't really give you a prediction just so yet because I'm not sure who's going to opt in, who's going to opt out. So give me about a week and I'll get back to you on that.
When is that game?
The 30th the 30th of December.
December 30th. Okay. Mm-hmm. They need to stop letting guys being able to transfer before bowl games. And bowl season needs to be over with, and then guys should be able to hit the transfer portal.
Trust me, it's a mess. Imagine being a college coach and you have to worry about prepping for a bowl game, and you got guys on the playoff team saying I'm opting out. Like the Devin Brown, Ohio State's backup quarterback, says he's entering the portal, but he's waiting until after Ohio State season is done. It just everything is accelerated so fast with all this money coming in, and now you have on top of that you have to worry about the early signing period, guys that transferring out the portal. It's a mess. So I agree with you on that 100%.
Yeah. So Adrian, did Michigan sign a new offensive coordinator?
Yes. Chip Lindsey is his name. 50 years old. What I know so far. Was an offensive coordinator at Carolina the last few years. He was there when Drake May had that breakout year a couple years ago when his numbers were off the charts. Was a coach at Troy for a couple years. Was offensive coordinator at UCF with Gus Malzahn. So he's well traveled. He has I read a report that says that Sherrone Moore said he wanted to act fast and get a guy with some veteran experience with a multiple offense so he can run the pass. Like I told you guys pre-show, anything was better than Kirk Campbell. I'm surprised that Sherrone Moore actually pulled the trigger and said it's time to go. He's making some savage moves. We got to get guys out there who are going to be ready to go. And getting him so fast was important to him because, as we know, guys, the transfer portal just opened yesterday. So you got to get some of these guys that entered the portal and then make sure Bryce is on board with this and some of the guys we got coming in so we can get this thing rolling early. So I think it was a good move. Like what I've seen, what I've read. So far, so good. So
you got to get a new DC. Wink Martindale stinks.
Yeah, he coached better towards the end of the season. I think everybody on the defensive staff is set for next season.
I think so too. But I think that Wink Martindale is going to end up being somebody that I think Michigan fans are gonna end up hating him even more.
He's like feast or famine sometimes. It's very frustrating sometimes because his defense is so aggressive. But what I did towards the end of the season was he started switching his looks and having more multiple looks instead of being old Don Brown, which we did not want to see. So.
Yeah, I mean, the defense, that front seven played well, especially the Ohio State game. They pretty much helped them win that game. And Will Johnson pretty much packed it up and bailed out on him too. So I think he did the best job he could for the second half of the season. It looked a lot better than it did the first half for sure. All right, so let's switch over to Florida State, Reid. So you guys hired your offensive coordinator Malzone, right?
Yeah, Gus Malzone. Yeah, he came.
Malzone's new OC, and isn't there some rumblings of some QBs possibly coming over in the portal?
Yeah, I think Adrian said he saw something about a guy that I don't want. There's a few options. Salter from Liberty would be a guy that I'd be interested in. That Malik, what's his name? I forgot his last name, from Duke.
Malik Murphy.
Yeah, Malik Murphy. I'd be interested in him. I mean, he's 6'5", 230, athletic guy. But, having a season where you only win 2-3 games, it's going to probably be a little hard. And then the only thing that you could offer a kid transferring there is like those two is you're probably going to start right away, because it's either Brock Glenn or the kid that they got from the high school kid that's supposed to be coming in this year, who's like the 25th recruit. And
why am I blanking on his name?
Sperry, is that his last name?
Michael Sperry,
something like that. He's a high school senior. I think he's going to be there freshman this year. We lost Cromenhawk, which I'm a little upset that he transferred, but hey, I don't blame him. When you're
ranked number 2 right now, according to 247, as updated the portal was 20 minutes ago, he is ranked as the number 2 player overall in the portal right now.
Cromenhawk is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, hopefully you can bring him back. Hopefully somebody doesn't take him away. I mean, I thought he played well. Like I said to you guys earlier, I think that Mike Norvell really ruined his chance with that kid when he started Brock Glenn over him, and he kept flopping him back and forth when DJU went out and like week 4 or 5 or whatever it was. So yeah, Adrian said Castellanos, Tommy Castellanos. He's Boston College's quarterback. He's a mobile quarterback. He's like all of 5'8", like 120 pounds soaking wet. It's like he's shorter than Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray obviously played good in college, but this guy can't throw a pass past over 20 yards. It's just, I mean, maybe they like him because he can throw off defenses and run the ball, and all they do is throw bubble screens and 5-yard in routes. So maybe that's why they would take him and they like him. But yeah, I'd rather have one of the other two guys. I don't know. It's going to be looking, like I said to you guys, a lot of 5 and 7 seasons coming up here in the future. I don't know if Florida State's going to be good for a while again.
Guys are projected to land an edge guy out of transfer from Nebraska. James Williams, a 6'6" edge guy. So it's just the news notes for you. So I'm kind of scrolling through right now, looking at it. The number 1 player in the portal right now is Eric Singleton. He's a wide receiver from Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm. But he's going to go to like Georgia or what was it, Georgia?
Yeah, Georgia was the only one I seen when the last time I checked.
There was 2 other ones. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Georgia, maybe Texas, and one other school. But it was like, was it Mississippi State maybe?
Yeah, I said it before. I say it again. Go after Deion. This is alma mater. I mean, shoot your shot. If he says no, he says no. But gotta ask.
I mean, I would do that in a heartbeat. I think they're going to give Norvell 1 to 2 more years, unfortunately. So we'll see how Malzahn does, this new DC. I don't know. I don't have a lot of hope. I mean, when you're coming into the season, I mean, you guys, Michigan fans, know. I mean, you're coming into the season with no quarterback, and if you have to get, the guy from Boston College who played well against you this year, but he's also, again, all of 5'9" or whatever he is, and just probably not the guy, not the prototypical quarterback you would probably want in your backfield when you're playing. So if they don't get another 2 guys, I don't know. If they land that Salter kid from Liberty, I guess I'll have to be happy with that. I mean, he's mobile, he's an improviser. I'll take it. I would like to give Malik a chance just because he is, that athletic 6'5", 230. That's kind of like, prototypical guy you would want as a quarterback, big arm. But I think
it's Auburn.
Yeah, I think he's going to go somewhere bigger. I mean, he was at Duke. He's probably going to go. Yeah, Florida's not an option, but you'll see him in like Auburn or an A&M maybe. I don't know, somewhere that is like a better off program than we are at this moment.
One thing this whole thing has taught me over this last year with the portal is you better have a quarterback. You better have a plan in place. Even if you gotta have two, you gotta have two quarterbacks now. That's the one thing I've learned. Look at Georgia right now. So I don't want to go through another 7-5 season because we not F that quarterback and can't play a guy. So I think that's one thing I think that not only Michigan but most teams around the country are trying to prevent.
I think, if you get Castellanos, however you say his name, if you get him and it's him and Brock Glenn and then some freshman coming in, I'm calling the season a wash again, and I'm not watching the next year. I won't watch a single snap of Florida State football next year.
No, they gonna make some moves. They gonna do something.
There's a lot of playing time to be had right there.
Is DJU in the portal?
I think his football career is done.
Yeah, that dude might be an undrafted signing.
I think he plays baseball too, though, right? He should probably enter like the MLB draft or something.
I mean, he could. He's got a strong arm, but how old is he now? I mean,
23, I think, is he?
Yeah, somewhere around there. So he'd be an older prospect, but
yeah,
maybe you could give us a hand at it.
Yeah. All right. So sticking with college football, the Heisman finalists are out. It's Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty, Cam Ward, and Dylan Gabriel. So Adrian, do you expect Travis Hunter to win this thing unanimously, or can you see somebody else stealing some votes?
No, I think Genty's season has been too historical because he can absolutely break Barry Sanders' record this next game he plays. So I think Travis probably wins it. But I definitely think you gotta give Genty some votes, man. Come on now. The pace he's been on, the ride he's been. I know Travis Hunter's done is phenomenal, but you gotta give Genty some love as well too. So and then Cam Ward and Dylan Gabriel are just there just to have a good time because we know they have absolutely no shot to win the award. But those two, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's kind of shifted towards Travis because he played like those last 2 or 3 games pretty well. And people just people like him being on both sides of the ball and the snaps and everything. So I think he's got it locked up. But like Adrian said, I don't think it's going to be unanimous. You got to give Genty his flowers with, him possibly beating Barry's record. I mean, I was saying it earlier last weekend. He technically could have already beaten Barry's record if he didn't get pulled 4 games in the season. He got pulled at the half or before the half, and he already had 100+ rushing yards and multiple touchdowns. So they decided to keep him in, and he didn't get hurt, God willing. He could have had well over 1,000 or well over 3,000 rushing yards by the end of the season, and probably 30+ touchdowns. So I still think that he should get. I don't think it should be unanimous for Travis, but I think I definitely think he's still going to win it.
Cool. Yeah, Travis Hunter's our unanimous Heisman Trophy winner for sure. All right, let's switch over to the NFL. So Lions right now 12-1. They're on the top of the division. They do got the Vikings on their heels. Big 4:30 game this Sunday against Buffalo. So Reid, what's the state of the Lions right now?
Yeah, I mean, you're getting Buffalo coming off of a bad loss to the Rams. Their defense hasn't looked as good as it has looked earlier in the season, but you still have Josh Allen, who's in the talks for an MVP this year. It depends on how healthy that offense is and how healthy the Lions' defense are. I mean, if you get those D linemen back, like if Reid comes back, you're probably going to need Pascal and Onwuzurike because I don't know if Aleem's going to be back. He still has that. He's in concussion protocol now, but they said he had a jaw injury as well. So got to keep an eye out on that. We'll know obviously more by Thursday. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I hate saying that. I think I'm done saying the Lions are going to lose. Can they lose? Potentially, but I mean they've proven me wrong time and time again when I do say that they could potentially lose a game. So they're at home. Buffalo, Josh Allen can have games where he has mistakes. But yeah, the main thing is I think you're game planning around him. If you can kind of take away his mobility, you're going to need Zadarius Smith to step up. This is a game where you really needed Aiden, obviously, because you get the pressure on him, try and get Allen, under pressure. You have to just contain him and hope he makes a mistake. But I still think the Lions are going to win this game. A lot of other people, are scared of the Bills. They are a good team. The thing about it, this whole thing though, is that the Vikings just won't go away with Sam Darnold. I mean, he's still killing it. He's playing very well this season. I thought he was going to play well. I didn't think he was going to play this good. I mean, he threw 5 touchdowns against Atlanta this last Sunday, 300 plus yards. So yeah, it stinks that you don't have the breathing room. Philly's getting hot at the right time for them. I'm hoping we scratch the Steelers back. They scratch ours with they beat Philly. We beat the Bills. So they'll have a little cushion. But yeah, it'll be a very interesting game. Very, very interesting. Lions offense needs to be humming.
Yeah, like you said, worst case they lose this game, but it isn't. It's a AFC NFC game, so it won't hurt you as much. But it would be nice to get this win. I think the recipe, honestly, to beat the Bills is let Josh Allen go off and stop everybody else. I think if you get the Bills in the shootout, they're not going to be able to compete because I think Lions defense isn't great, not just because they're banged up, but I don't think the Bills defense is great. They're not built to stop a powerhouse offense like the Lions, especially if they're going toe for toe back and forth. Because look what the Rams just did to them. I think the best bet is for Buffalo to slow this game down, get it more low scoring, and that will help them win the game. But can they lose this game? Will they win this game? I'm still not sure. I think the Lions are able to pull this game out 20, 27, 21 in the close game. Thinking just going to have to make Josh Allen dink and dunk and drive the field and not give up any explosive plays. But like Reid talked about, it just got to continue to try to get healthier and get some of these guys back. I believe they'll get a couple of the guys back and just kind of just work your way up there and just, continue to fight for that number 1 seed. You know what I mean? But also do me a favor and get this win for my Steelers so we can get your back too. So as we take on Philly, but I think it's going to be a great game, a 425 game. The Lions and Steelers both play at 425. So you guys are putting me in a super tight dilemma come Sunday.
Yeah, I think the game it could be who has the ball last could win the game. Honestly, like it could come down to that. Really, I do like the fact that the Lions got this game at home. They're not going to upstate New York, playing outside in Buffalo. They definitely have the edge in that situation. But I mean, they're 3-point favorite. This game could really go either way. Like honestly, like I said, whoever has the ball last, that's who I think is going to win it.
That's what I said about the Packers game last Thursday. I said whoever gets the ball last is going to win this game, and it came to be that because the Packers went down. They obviously scored, and Lions got the ball back, and they just held it. Drove the field and kicked the field goal. So I think it's going to be 24-27, or 27-24 Lions.
Okay. All right,
plus the Lions do have the extra. They have extra time because they played on Thursday versus the Bills, who have you get that extra 3 days of rest that the Bills don't have from playing Sunday. So much needed for this Lions team.
Absolutely. Hopefully some of the defensive guys will be back
because they haven't even practiced yet. I don't think they practice till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see some of the feedback here. DC says, if Josh Allen beats us, does that guarantee the MVP award?
I wouldn't say it guarantees MVP award. One's going to depend on how he looks, and 2, I think it'll put him in the driver's seat right now because I think Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry are on pace. I think Saquon's up there. So I think
people keep forgetting. I mean, because his team is losing games, but people keep forgetting about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's having an incredible season. And I'm sorry if even if his team doesn't go to the playoffs and doesn't win, I think he's got like 30. I think he's got like 33 touchdowns and only like 5 interceptions right now with almost 4,000 yards. If you throw under double-digit touchdown or under double-digit interceptions, you're most likely going to win an MVP.
For sure. All right. So yeah, let's move over to the. Hold on, we got one more here.
I think he meant to say golf.
Yeah, is golf in the MVP race? Said good right there. I think he's meant to say
Yeah,
golf.
yeah, I think he's still in
Yeah,
there.
he is.
I don't think he's obviously a clear cut one, but he's definitely in there, and he's playing well. He's got the best completion percentage. Um, his team's 12-1. So yeah, I think he's definitely in the conversation. I think Lamar has dropped a lot too because Lamar hasn't played well. We'll see how he plays this week, and then obviously the week after. We know, as we all know, how he plays against Adrian Steelers. So yeah, Goff is definitely still in it, I think.
Yeah, I think Jamar Chase has got to be a guy you start talking about as well, even if he doesn't get MVP consideration. I think he, in my opinion, is going to win Offensive Player of the Year. What he's doing is.
You're talking about Jamar Chase?
Yeah.
It's up to him or Saquon. If Saquon gets this record, I think he wins it, which he's on pace to beat the rushing record.
Yeah, it's crazy the season that Jamar Chase and Burrow's having, and they're just not winning though. It's the only issues. Like the numbers are there, the wins aren't.
Reid, he's on pace to break the rushing record yards in the season.
The single season was like 2,105 or something like that.
Yeah, Eric Dickerson's.
Yeah, Dickerson's record. He's on pace to beat that. Henry was, and then he trickled off. But I think Saquon's 1490 something right now, unless that was before they played last week Sunday. He might be at 15 something.
He's at 1623 right now. And Derrick Henry is second at 1407.
Yeah, so 1623 with four or 5 games left in the season.
He's projected 21-22,
which would beat it by 17 or whatever it is.
And he gets an extra game.
Yeah. So people will always be like, just like the Barry record, does it really count?
Yeah, if he gets it, records are meant to be broken. So I'm not. He does it. Congrats to him. It's still a hard thing to do. I think the NFL is transitioning more back to physical football, little big guys running the football, having an elite running back.
I mean, the last guy to win the MVP that wasn't a quarterback was Adrian Peterson, and he rushed for, I don't even remember how many yards that was.
He was like 40 yards short of breaking the record, and that was coming off the ACL and the torn ACL he had.
Incredible season. Yeah, I think they matched the stats up to Adrian Peterson's season of MVP and Saquon's season of MVP at the same games. I think it was at week 13, and Saquon cleared him by like 250 yards and like 3 more touchdowns. So just crazy the Giants let him go. I mean, obviously they needed to because the Giants stink, but crazy he goes to the right Eagles. Move. Yeah, he goes to the Eagles and just somehow becomes Iron Man. He just does not get hurt now.
Yeah, if he was still in New York, he wouldn't be putting up these.
No, he wouldn't be. But I just think it's crazy how he had 3 seasons in New York where he didn't, or 2 seasons in New York where he didn't play a full season, and then he comes to the Eagles and he just. Granted, the Eagles have a great offensive line and everything, but it's just crazy that he's just going off. He's like the Saquon that you thought he was going to be.
For sure. All right, so Adrian, your Steelers, they're 10-3, top of the AFC North right now. At Philly, like you said, 4:30 this Sunday for the Battle of Pennsylvania. Philly favored in this one though, 5-point favorite though. What's to say the Steelers and how you see this one going?
Well, crazy stat, we haven't won in Philadelphia since the 1960s. So that tells you, yeah. So not a great stat. On top of George Pickens is 99% chance he's not playing. Mike Tomlin had a press conference today and he said there's an outside chance. He said right now he lists him as doubtful to play. And he's dealing with a grade 2 hamstring strain. They said it was worse than what they thought it was. So I looked up. That's usually a 2 to 3 week injury, just depending on how you're dealing with. So I think they're playing it smart by keeping him out because we're going to need him down the stretch. You got to sit this Philly game out. It's tough. But like Reid talked about, the Lions are dealing with a AFC, NFC opponent. So we're dealing with the Eagles who are in the NFC, but it would help the Lions as well. But I think you're just going to have to have the next man step up there. You said 4.5, right, Raaj?
Yeah, 5 points, yeah.
Well, yeah. I think if I'm leaning right now, I don't think we win this game. I think we lose right now. I say Eagles win 24-21. But we do have Russell Wilson, so I think anything can happen. But that Browns game, the Browns had nothing to play for. They played us hard. We had to figure it out. I think to win this game, we're going to have to give a lot of Najee and Jaylen Warren hat fire move over the middle. But Russell Wilson has been a revelation for us this year. And I didn't want him in. I told you guys this when we made the switch. I wasn't happy about it. But hey, anytime I'm wrong, you usually don't like that. But I love that I was wrong about this and should have trusted Mike Tomlin on this one. He made the right call. So I don't think they win this game, but they do. I'm happy. But I love what I'm seeing from this team thus far. Everybody's playing together. The defense is playing elite. Like I said, I thought we were getting everybody healthy back. And George said tweaks his hamstring late Thursday in practice. So Van Jefferson is going to have to step it up. But a guy I'm looking out for is Mike Williams, the guy we got from the Jets. I think he's going to be more of a factor. Calvin Austin's been great down the middle. This team's just playing well. You can just tell we have a competent quarterback who could score the other football down the field. We're averaging a little over 28 points a game since Russell Wilson has been inserted as a starting quarterback. So nothing I can ask for more. This team's dangerous. They can be competitive. I really want this 2 seed because I don't think we're catching the Chiefs because the Chiefs are, they're just every week is something. But I think we can get up as far as the 2 seed. But I'm loving where this team is at right now.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's going to be tough for them to beat Philly, but I don't think it's an impossible task. I mean, Philly just looked really bad against Carolina. Probably should have lost that game if Xavier Legette could hold on to a ball. And I think it's going to, like Adrian said, it's going to be a lot of relying on Najee and Jalen Warren. Jalen Warren mainly in the pass game. If you can kind of figure that out, and then just let the defense play the defensive game. You got to get a big game from Watt, which hopefully he plays. I know he got hurt a little bit last game. I don't know if it was anything too serious because I know he came back in, but I don't know if it was anything serious. But yeah, you're gonna need Calvin Austin. You're gonna need Mike Williams. It's gonna be a tough one, but I mean, I don't think they're world beaters like everybody's saying. They've played a lot of close games against a few bad teams. So talking about the Eagles, so I think the Steelers can pull it out. I mean, if I was betting, I would probably take the Eagles just because it's a smarter play. But to help us out on this weekend, I might just throw down a bet on the Eagles, so I know that I'll mush them and hopefully they do lose because my bets haven't been hitting a lot recently.
I think you would take the 4.5. I think it's going to be a close game. I would take the Steelers with the points at plus 4.5. I think that's
I think Pittsburgh covers.
I think the problem Philadelphia's got a lot of internal problems right now in the locker room right now with the Brandon Graham talking about Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown and just I don't know. We'll see how the situation works. If we can make Jalen Hurts throw the football out, I think that's a recipe for us to win the football game right now because their passing game is off.
Just shut down Saquon. That's all they need to do. Shut down Saquon.
For sure. So Adrian, with your Steelers, in the grand scheme of things in the AFC, do you consider the Steelers legit contenders? Could they beat the Chiefs or the Bills in the playoffs?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Steelers could get it as far as the AFC Championship game. I don't think they can get to the Super Bowl, but I think they can. They play as well as I know they can this season. I think they can at least get to the AFC Championship game. They can upset. I like our chances better against KC than I do Buffalo, especially if it's in Buffalo. It's a weird place to play, especially when it's cold outside. We obviously played them last year in the playoffs with Mason Rudolph, but I definitely think they can get there. I want to take care of this division, wrap this division up. Take care of Philly, and we got Baltimore. The thing is, we gotta starting with Philly. We got 3 games in 11 days, so we go to Philly, then come back Saturday afternoon, play at Baltimore, and then turn right back around on Christmas and have to play at home versus the Kansas City Chiefs. So this is going to be a test. Yes, and the NFL needs to do something about this. Not even just for my team, or whether it's for the Lions, for any other team. It's crazy, man. I know that they want their money, but you got to get these players rested. If we don't get them rested, we don't get them at their best performance level, man. This is crunch time. We got 4 games left in the regular season, so there's a lot on the line right now.
Sorry, boys. I was laughing because I'm watching this Incarnate Word Duke game, and they decided to throw Carlos Boozer up on the screen for an interview. That guy's beard, it gets me every single time. I swear, it looks like he just takes like paint, just like it's just straight across. Like it looks so funny to me every time I see.
Or doesn't he have a son that plays or something like that?
Yeah,
The
he
Boozer
has
twins are there.
twin boys, but they're not in yet. They're coming next year to Duke.
Okay.
Or the famous picture of Carlos Boozer with his hair when he's got it like paint. Have you guys seen that one?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it gets me every time. I just think his beard looks so funny.
All right, let's get some feedback here. Good question from David right here. He says, Mike Tomlin or Dan Campbell for Coach of the Year?
I gotta say Dan, because not only because I'm a Lions fan, but I mean, your team's 12-1. You have the best record in the NFL. You have the highest point differential at plus 182. You have the offense is one of the best offenses in the league. The defense is a top defense in the league with no names. So, I mean, Tomlin definitely, is up there for sure. I mean, he's taking a team that nobody thought was going to win, above 8 games or something like that, let alone be leading their division. So he's definitely up there. But I think when you have a coach that has the best team, that's scoring the most points and leading the NFL record, I think I have to do the edge a little bit to Dan Campbell.
Yeah, I'm going to go with my guy, Mike T. Preseason Steelers were picked to finish not first, second, or third, but picked to finish last in the AFC North. And the fact that they might win the AFC North tells you everything you need to know. And he went against the grain. Justin Fields was the guy to start the season. Russell Wilson was out. Mike Tomlin made that crucial switch at a time when we didn't see it coming, and he hasn't looked back. Elevated the offense. The hire by Arthur Smith has been a home run thus far. He's been a lot better than Matt Canada. Just everything he's doing right now just turned his team around. We know the defense is elite, but just a leader of men. I think they would be top 10 right now in scoring. They just got to trust the guy, man. He's been there 18 years, man. And he hasn't looked back. And people call for him to be fired, but he adapts with the players. He's a great leader. Continues to be consistent. But now it's time to win a playoff game. We haven't won one since 2016. It's time to break that streak.
I think Dan Campbell got a little gypped out of it last year too.
Yeah.
So I think that he definitely deserves it with the team. I mean, he went to the NFC Championship for the first time. I mean, granted, people always give me this stupid excuse if it's a regular season award. I get it, but still, it's like something that should still be put into consideration because the award comes out. It comes out like when the championship games are happening anyway. So like it's something to consider. But I think all of the awards are a little funky in my opinion.
I do honestly think probably who should win it would probably be a guy, and I can't stand this guy, like Sean Payton or Jim Harbaugh, not even because I'm a Michigan guy, but what Sean Payton is able to do with the turnaround with Denver this year with the rookie quarterback is legit, and Jim Harbaugh has changed the culture for the Chargers thus far. So those are two guys I think have an inside track to possibly win Coach of the Year.
I would say Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, what he's done.
Kevin O'Connell. I mean, nobody thought that everybody thought the Vikings were going to be last in the NFC North. So it's like, I think Kevin O'Connell should definitely be in consideration too. Sean Payton's another guy I agree with because he's taken, I mean, they started out not great and everybody called for him to get fired, but now Bo Nix is, on Jaden Daniels' heels for offensive rookie of the year. So it's just it's a weird award. I don't know how people are going to judge it, but there's a few guys out there that probably deserve it too. I think Campbell's the betting favorite right now.
Okay, so I mean, we got to just see how the season unfolds for a lot. Nobody has nothing in stone yet for us. Coach of the year, MVP, a lot of these things, rookie of the year. A lot of these things still got to play.
The only thing I think you could say a defensive player of the year is probably like Watt or Hendrickson because Hendrickson has the most.
Hendrickson is.
Yeah,
it's weird because the sacks I feel like all over the league as far as guys are down this year. We have 4 games left, and the leading sack leader is 11.
I'd be so interested to know what Hutch would be at right now, considering he was like top 5 for like the first 8 weeks.
I think he'd be the leader if he was still healthy.
Yeah, he definitely. Yeah, I think he'd probably be at 13 or 14 sacks.
Sure. All right, cool. All right, well, yeah, my last question here. So the NFC West, Reid, you got Seattle at 8-5, Rams 7-6, Cardinals 6-7, San Francisco 6-7. So who wins the NFC West?
Rams. I think the Rams are clear cut with a healthy Puka, healthy Cooper Kupp, a healthy Kyron Williams, as long as Stafford, can stay pretty clean in the pocket, I think that team has the most explosive offense in that division. Their defense has been pretty solid, even though they have a lot of young guys on the defensive line. Two of them being my Florida State guys with Fisk and Jared Verse, but also, Kobe Turner's looked great. That one DB they have, I can't remember his name, but he's looking good. He's been playing well. I think it's Bryant is his last name, but I can't remember. But yeah, I think they're the best. I mean, the Seahawks are one of the teams that keep sticking around. Cardinals, I almost said the Cardinals were going to do it. I think in the beginning of the year when we did our pre-season predictions, I think I said the Cardinals will shock and make the playoffs, which I still think they can potentially do. But yeah, I think the Rams are definitely clear cut to win that one, which nobody probably saw. Everybody, thought San Francisco. Nobody thought San Francisco would be the bottom of the pile there, but I would say the Rams are probably clear cut to win that. They have the best all around team in that division. So as of right now,
I'm gonna surprise you. I was gonna go to the Rams, but I'm gonna go off the grid here, and I'm gonna go Seattle Seahawks right now. They're a game up, but the Rams and Seahawks play final week, so that may decide who wins the division right there. The San Francisco 49ers, they're just completely just beat up, so I don't see them doing it. Arizona just fell off a cliff. I think they don't have the talent yet. I think they need another off season of the draft to get caught up, because you could just tell they're behind. But I think Geno's having a good year. I think their defense is coming around. Offense is good. Get Ken Walker back. We'll see. He plays. He doesn't play. But I'm gonna take the Seattle Seahawks. They do have a tough schedule though. These last 4 games of the season. They host the Packers on Sunday Night Football, so that's a big pivotal game for you guys, especially keeping out for them to see what they do, if they can help the Lions out. Then they host the Vikings. Then they go to Chicago, and they host the Rams. So it's not an easy schedule. These last 3 or 4 games are losable games for sure.
So I will tell you guys. Well, actually, I'll let you go ahead, Raj.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that. I think that last game against Seattle, that's going to determine it. The Rams are going to be right there in the mix. I like what they got on offense. They got a lot of firepower. I don't trust the Rams defense, man, especially their secondary. Their secondary is just awful. I don't trust it. So I'm leaning more towards Seattle in that one to win the West.
So for Coach of the Year, Dan Campbell's the favorite at -140. Then next is Kevin O'Connell. Mike Tomlin's third, Sean Payton, Dan Quinn, and then Mike McDonald is 6th on the list. Okay. For Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jared Verse leads that with Quinyon Mitchell right behind him. They're basically even. It's -105 for Verse, plus 115 for Mitchell. And then this one actually surprised me looking for the betting. I mean, this is obviously just betting favorites. So TJ Watt's the favorite for Defensive Player of the Year. Do you guys know who 2 and 3 would be if you had to take a guess?
Right. Trey Hendrickson be on there here.
What'd you say, Rosh?
You said who's 2 and 3 for Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah. So Trey Hendrickson, I'll just let you know, Trey Hendrickson isn't even in the top 5. Or sorry, top 6.
What? Is Myles Garrett in the top 5?
Myles Garrett is 6.
Okay, so I would go.
Hey, this was very surprising to me.
Okay, hold on.
I'll tell you who 6, 5, and 4 are. Garrett 6, Danielle Hunter's 5, Will Anderson is 4.
Will Anderson. Okay, interesting.
I would go.
Will Anderson's missed like 2 or 3 games, hasn't he?
What'd you say?
Will Anderson's missed like 3 games, hasn't he?
He's missed a few games. I will tell you that they are. It's not Kyle Hamilton, but I will tell
Dexter
you that
Lawrence?
they are. Nope, they are 2 defensive backs. One's a defensive back. One is a safety position.
Javon Holland, is he on there?
Pat Surtain is 2. Xavier McKinney's 3.
Okay, I could, because he leads the league in picks, right?
Yeah, I can see McKinney, but Pat Surtain's number 2.
I think he's the best. 2. I think he's the best corner in the league.
I do too, but again, I don't understand the McKinney thing. I mean, I get it. He and Kirby are tied in interceptions, but everything else, Kirby is beating him in stat wise.
Is Kirby on the list?
Kirby's on the list. He is He's 7th, plus 2,500.
Hmm.
And then I mean everything else we obviously know. Jaden Daniels is offensive rookie. Barkley is offensive player of the year, and then Josh.
What's Bo Nix? Is he second or third?
He's second at 2. This is another one that's kind of shocking. So Bo Nix is second at plus 230. Brock Bowers is third at plus 1,000. I feel like Brock Bowers should be higher than
I think he should be too.
I think he should be high, not necessarily higher than Bo Nix, which I think you can make the argument, but plus 1,000 is kind of crazy. He can beat the record for receiving yards.
He's on pace to.
Yeah. So I don't think they would give it to a tight end, unfortunately, because it's just these awards are all for quarterbacks.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, offensive player of the year is Saquon Barkley. Just close behind him is Jamar Chase plus 600.
What's Barkley
For offensive player of the year or for MVP?
For offensive player of the year.
Minus 450 for that, and he's plus 550 for MVP.
And what's Chase for offensive rookie of the year?
Plus 600.
Okay, so that's going to be a tight race, and I think it's going to come down to if Jamar Chase wins the Triple Crown, I think he should get it.
It's going to be close. If he wins the Triple Crown,
it's crazy how all the Bengals players are putting up all these crazy numbers. Burrow, Chase, Hendricks, and they're just not winning.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you watched their former Steelers on their defense, Mike Hilton? He got absolutely barbecue chicken it last night by CD Lamb in the slot.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
The only player I really know, other player on defense I really know of there is this Jordan Battle, and that's just because he was a Bama player, and I thought
Cam Taylor-Britt made that interception against Patrick Mahomes early in the season. Remember, he made that one and a pick. So he's a decent. They have a couple guys, but they're gonna have to completely revamp that defense. But that's what happens when you're a cheap ass franchise and you don't want to spend money. Like you could have paid Jamar Chase before the season started. Now you're gonna have to pay him extra $45-50 million because you wanted to wait.
Yeah, that's crazy.
T. Higgins is walking, so he's out the door. They're not gonna do that.
What happened to Daxton Hill?
He tore his ACL against the Ravens in week 7 or 6 or 7 when they played them.
Yeah, that was early. So again, I mean, it's a toss up. I mean, it's not anything crazy, but I guess just because McKinney's probably a bigger name. McKinney has 8 more solo tackles than Kirby, but they're tied in interceptions, and Kirby has 1 more pass defense. Everything, but they're basically neck and neck. So I think that's why I think the odds are. It's a little bizarre to have the odds that drastic, because I feel like if Kirby gets, let's say he gets 1 or 2 more picks over McKinney, would that move him up and his odds go way down? You know,
it should, especially because he's such an important piece of the defense.
Yeah,
they have more wins.
It would be an interesting, because I don't think he's going to win it. I think it's Watt's award to win, but I would just be interested to throw $10 on it, maybe win $250 if he's plus 2,500. Couldn't hurt, right? So, or parlay it with another guy that like Jamar Chase, who's plus 600. Maybe he can come out if he gets that Triple Crown, like Adrian said. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, sure. The last stretch of the season is going to be real interesting to see how things unfold for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, before we get out of here, a quick thought. I got to get this off my chest because I haven't talked to you guys about it, but I'm going to say my Carolina Tar Heels basketball, we're in trouble. Big trouble. I just want the people to know we're in big trouble. No front court whatsoever.
There's a long season ahead. They can figure something out.
Yeah.
Me and you could play play rim. We could guard the rim with the way they're playing.
Yeah, there was an 18-point favorite that Georgia Tech game.
Yeah, I told you they weren't gonna cover that.
Yeah, no, they didn't. But RJ did cover my 15 points I needed him to get. So.
Yeah, he's been. You gotta start taking.
That's crazy. They just pulled it up. As soon as you said that, panic or patience, North Carolina, patience. Give them patience.
Yeah, wow. I would play. I'm not gonna stick a fork in them just yet. Let's see how they're looking by the time March comes. The tournament starts. It's too early for me to hit the panic button on them.
Oh,
By the way, Michigan's playing Arkansas right now.
yeah, I just remembered that. What's his name's there now, isn't he? Coach Cal's at Arkansas.
Yeah.
Shoot, I should turn that game
Oh,
on.
dang. Oh, yeah, I
It's
forgot
the game
about
right now.
And
They can't shoot. They can't. Arkansas can't shoot worth a lick.
who's Kentucky's coach now?
Mark Pope.
Where's he from?
He played at Kentucky when they won a Natty in '96, and then he was coaching at BYU.
Okay, BYU just got that number one kid,
AJ DeBosta. Yeah.
You see that conspiracy? Last thing I'll say, the conspiracy where the Jazz, it's Danny Ainge and the owner of the Jazz, who also owns the hockey club too, and he went to BYU, and there's talks that he paid a bunch of all the NIL money to get that kid to go to BYU, and they're going to try and tank to get him in the NBA draft.
Here's the logistic reason to that whole conspiracy theory. The thing is that he's playing basketball in Utah Prep. Two, the coach at BYU is Kevin Young, who was an assistant coach for a long time in the NBA, recently with the Suns, and he's a big Kevin Durant fan. And they said this guy runs an NBA offense, NBA style practice. So I guess it appealed more to the Bonds, and he kind of probably. He's more of a guy who wants to be a little different, especially in college basketball. They can make this schedule appealing. So I think he's gonna be a star. He's gonna be the number one pick in the NBA draft in 2022. I put my life savings on that.
And if the Jazz get it, what do you know?
Go.
For sure. All right. Well, good show, fellas. And anything else you guys want to add before we get up out of here?
No.
Oh, real quick, Gervonta Davis said after 2025 he's retiring. That's been the rumor on the street. So we'll see if he sticks to it. So.
Nah, I'm not buying it. He got kids, bills, a lot of overhead. I'm sure he's gonna need those checks still coming in. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, that's what he said. But we'll like I said, we'll see.
For sure. He has his fights in January or is it February?
March.
Oh, it's in March. Okay. Yeah.
He's not fighting until March. This Danny Wolf and this Vlad Golden guy, 2 7-footers from Michigan, have both been just.
These were the two guys that he brought with him, that May brought with him, wasn't it?
He brought Golden from FAU, and then Wolf was he played in the Ivy League.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, because they beat Auburn in the tournament last year.
I mean, they just the way that these two big guys play, it's just top of the key, get a pick, get out, and go towards the rim.
And wait till they get Trey McKinney, the guy I was telling you about that plays at St. Mary's. He's a stud.
Yeah, we got to go check one of these games out.
Absolutely. Maybe I'm good luck because when I went to see Bryce play, then he changed his mind. So
Adrian was the one that gave him all the NIL money.
Yeah. So talk to Larry about that one.
Nah. All right, well, good show, fellas, man. Sports update. Make sure y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday at 8:00.
Peace, boys.
Peace.